If you're interested to learn how to create, design, and develop a veggie garden, you'll find the tips and ideas on this video to be a useful way of getting started and to keep your garden growing for years to come. Vegetable gardening offers many benefits, such as sun, fresh air, exercise, mental therapy, nutritious fresh vegetables, and economical savings. Today's presidential family aren't the first White House residents to embrace growing vegetables. In 1800, John Adams planted an outdoor garden. Eleanor Roosevelt grew vegetables throughout the Second World War. The Clintons had a rooftop garden for vegetables and natural herbs, while the president along with the first family have great plans for their 1,100 square feet veggie garden. Urban and suburban young families can get this veg fever but direct their energies into a productive little backyard space. There's nothing quite like having homegrown vegetables right at your back door, and now's the time to prepare for springtime gardening. Sure, there's a lot to learn about growing food, but growing vegetables can even be very easy. Doesn't require an acre of garden space. Gardening doesn't need to be a new hobby. All it requires is some vegetable plants to spend less in the food market. Foods grown within the garden uses no fuel for shipping or maintenance, and also the gardener can be certain of what exactly was used to grow it. The main mistake made by beginning gardeners is beginning too big. Should you begin moaning about heading out to the garden after a day's work, the garden is likely to suffer. You're soon overwhelmed by the process, feeling frustrated and guilty. If it becomes a tedious chore to water, weed, thin and pick, you'll likely throw. Vegetable gardening ought to be enjoyable. Growing plants provides fresh air, sunlight, exercise, satisfaction, let alone nutritious and delicious veggies. It may take a little bit of research and practice, but growing vegetables is very doable. However, it isn't too tricky. You can do it. Prior to planting, sketch a garden plan which includes the name, location, and planting date with the veggies you would like to grow. Inspect your plants for insects and diseases before purchase and planting. Also learn how to identify the beneficial bugs which help manage the bad guys that can cause harm. Not using pesticides or herbicides should help protect the army of useful bugs. A lot of food can grow in a 100 square feet when you plant densely. Instead of growing 10 tomatoes, plant 1 or 2 indeterminate plants and take care of them properly, staking the plant up. You will get dozens of tomatoes from one plant if it's healthy and balanced. Full sunlight. In my experience, full sunlight usually means at least 8 hours per day. I'm pleased to have some areas which are just part sunlight 4 to 8 HRS, whereby I'll place some lettuce, green veggies and certain herbs. But most of the main fruits and veggies I would like to grow will need plenty of light as well as heat so as to consider this regarding garden. The weather determines how we handle it along with what vegetation and which varieties you grow. Don't shy away from the planting of the asparagus bed, or thinking about growing potatoes. Allow it to be fun and choose from a growing number of colored cultivars: purple asparagus, blue, red colored, tan, yellow colored and red potatoes. Microorganisms are simply as vital within our dirt as natural matter and nutrients. I take one of the plant foods and blend them with a microbe inoculate like garden compost teas or useful microbes, plus a sugar source like molasses. The sugar reference is essential to give the microbes. Microorganisms aren't discussed very much, and this is probably the more unique suggestions about natural vegetable gardening for beginners. Spring is coming and it's time to consider what's going to be in the garden. It's worthwhile once you begin eating the